What is up, folks? Justin Khanna here. Do you need a new chef knife? Are you just trying to nerd out on some gear with me? This video is actually part of a side-by-side series comparison of some really fantastic knives from small independent makers and larger companies alike. If you want to check that out, go ahead and click or tap right here. This video is individual knife specific, so let's get right into it. Moving right along, the next knife in the series here is the Maru Nagomi Santoku. So on paper, this knife actually lands in a really great price point for a lot of you at $155 retail through their site. This is a great option, at least in my opinion, for the materials used. It's got that molybdenum blend in the steel. There's a wooden handle. There's no plastic anywhere, and this really sleek profile and attention to detail makes it so that each piece is finished one by one, at least from what they say. It doesn't exactly scream custom in its own right, but I think the wood grain from each knife might change, so that will give you a little bit of variation, making you feel like this is your own. However, with that price point comes a lot of trade-offs. It is a 50-50 blade ratio on the bevel to help support the fact that this is a very, very thin knife. It's not the hardest steel in the world either, so you got to be conscious of that. And at this length of 180 millimeters, if you've got larger hands or just enjoy wielding a larger knife during your prep, this might not fit your needs. Also keep in mind that this being a Santoku style blade, this might be not as multi-purpose for professionals as the marketing leads on. I think for someone that cooks at home quite a bit, cutting raw chicken breast, slicing bell peppers, rough chopping on the occasional bunch of parsley, that definitely covers a lot of your bases. But if you're working in a professional kitchen, depending on what station you're working on and what your prep list looks like, this might not be the best fit. Now, my personal experience using this was decent. I didn't find that much comfort in the taper that happens from the handle going into the attachment to the blade, even though the, quote, smooth grip without a bump is the result of our craftsman's strenuous effort and handiwork. We would like you to feel comfortable with our knife in your hand, end quote. I do think that this is missing some element of bolster or center weight because it is very handle heavy. Where I found myself reaching for this the most was with smaller vegetable projects or tasks that required a lot of chopping. Rock chopping herbs or fruit, needing to hache things on smaller cutting boards in particular if your kitchen is tight, cutting shallots or radishes, or even getting slices with this on pick your vegetable is super easy because it has that even bevel and it's not gonna kind of sway one way or another. Also, because it's so short, you can see it side by side with my hand here, it's pretty much the same height. You don't have to worry about that scoop effect where you scoop up too much food and it falls off of the knife. If you're anti-bench scraper and love scooping ingredients up with your Santoku knife, this is a great option. And especially if you're the kind of person that wants the fusion knife kind of between a Nikiri and a chef knife, the Santoku profile actually works great for that and gives you the potential to do some more delicate tip work that a Nikiri can't do. Of course, during my testing for this video series, I left all my knives lined up on my workbench, and I would kind of mentally keep track of how likely I was to reach for certain knives depending on the task at hand. And for cooking at home, I would constantly reach for this one. If I had to cleanly articulate what it was, it's profiled and hard enough, and especially after I sharpened it, to not make me feel like I'm using one of my mom's knives, if that makes sense, but it doesn't feel like I'm breaking out the big guns to just cut a single head of bok choy to stir fry for dinner. I feel like I've already answered the who is this for and should you buy it on this one. Garbage station wanting to get some nicer steel in their bag, again, nice blend on this one. The home cook who wants to feel a little bit more pro or wants to go a little bit more minimal on their knife block, I think this can cover a lot of bases. But if you do a lot of butchering or cooked protein carving or even doing mass amounts of prep, I think the length and blade profile of this would be a little bit frustrating in a commercial environment. So absolutely weigh that for yourself. Also, because of the shape and length of this, I think this can be a great choice for someone working to improve your whetstone sharpening. It's a pretty even playing field. There's not too much of a swoop in the blade. So if you're working on getting your angles nice, this is a good option. I realize including a shorter knife in particular and also having it be kind of a Santoku style profile doesn't fit this chef knife bonanza, but it was part of one of the knives that a company sent out to me. And I think sometimes, especially as a professional, you get beat into this idea of like chef knife, chef knife, chef knife, when in reality, if you can become a rock star with using this and get through your prep list faster because this works better with how you work, I would hate to not recommend this because I feel like some of you will find a lot of joy in using knives like this. Actually, now that I talk about it like that, I'm genuinely curious to hear your thoughts. Are you someone who used to use chef knives and now has transitioned into like Santoku or Nikiri style knives? let me know the benefits and why you've switched. Do you want a chance to win this knife? It's completely free. Please leave me a comment down below with your favorite feature of this knife. Please get some color on that like button and make sure you're subscribed. Yes, I check if you're subscribed when I pick a winner. And I look forward to getting this on your cutting board ASAP. Thank you so much for your attention. My name is, of course, Justin Khanna, and I hope you have a good one.